We are back, and I finally got a chance to see Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't see it in the movie theater at the time. I think when it came out, I was working on a show, so I was just completely swamped. I thought the storyline was pretty good. I really enjoyed the interactions that Dan Aykroyd had with the kids, and I feel like because he's one of the original people that founded Ghostbusters with Harold Ramis, I feel like he's the one that should truly carry the torch going forward. But I recently heard that he said he didn't think he'd be appearing in any more films going forward. I feel like they set up all of the new Ghostbusters. It looks like there's about 6 of them now. If you took away Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson, you're left with a schmodge podge of characters that could really do some pretty cool stuff going forward in the future. Some of them are almost emulating the cartoon characters. Like James Acaster. He almost feels like their new Egon. I enjoyed all the throwbacks to the original film. I'm kind of done with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man little miniature ones. I feel like that's played out. I feel like that was a good thing for Afterlife and a fun way to, instead of having a giant, 40-story tall Stay Puft Marshmallow Man or whatever it was, having them shrunk miniature was fun, but I feel like all that gimmicky stuff is kind of played out at this point. They should probably get away from that. But by having Slimer, who, if you remember the original Ghostbusters, he showed up at the credits at the end, like, because, all of the ghosts were out of the containment center thrown out, and I guess they never caught Slimer again. And it's so smart that the place he would hide would be right under their noses in the firehouse up in the attic, so that they would never suspect that he would be there. So it felt like the cartoon characters kind of like had Slimer always with them as kind of a companion. And so I feel like that's kind of that direction that they're going in, which I thought was great. I liked Finn Wolfhard. I thought he was, from Stranger Things and all that. I like him in this character. I think he's doing a good job. Having Annie Potts come back was fun. Paul Rudd is always pleasant. But in this movie, Carrie Coon and Paul Rudd, I didn't feel the connection between them. I felt it was forced. I hope that they can work on that a little bit. It just felt very forced, the whole situation and everything, that storyline there. Logan Kim coming back, I was shocked at his growth spurt. I was like, oh my God, this was the little kid that was in Afterlife, and he's like a teenager now, just totally blew up. He hit his growth spurt and was up there. I love that they brought back John Rothman, who was the original purveyor of the library in the first movie. That when he was he came out there and they had hired them to go look for the ghost. The whole thing with the library and the ghost still there floating, that nod to the first film. With Dan Aykroyd, when he kind of looks this way and then tips back behind the books and she's there and she's like, blah, and does it again. No, the movie didn't need that, because that gimmick had been done in the first film so well. The retreading, just stop retreading on the old nostalgia. Just go forward with new stories, because I love the villain in this. I would have loved to have seen him do more. It was pretty cool when he found his horns and stuck them in him and all that stuff. And I like the fire, whatever Kamal's character was, the fire. What did they call himself? The fire starter, not the fire starter. The fire. Anyway. His character was great, and I thought it was a great addition to the movie. It almost filled this void where Rick Moranis wasn't in there. Having William Atherton back as the guy who hates, I think now he's the mayor of New York, hates the Ghostbusters and has been always trying to get them, is fine. But again, we can move on from that. We can move on, going forward, next movie. We do not need to see any of this stuff anymore. And again, like I said earlier, I feel like Ernie Hudson is great, and I feel like Dan Aykroyd is great. I don't think we need Bill Murray anymore in these movies. He always seems to phone it in and doesn't have enough work to do. Doesn't have enough stuff to do. He's not as part of the focal point of the first 2 Ghostbuster films. And it was a great cameo in Afterlife. I thought that was great that he came back. But this just feels like it's not. Ernie has his heart in this. Dan Aykroyd, of course, has his heart in this. I don't think Bill has it harder than this, other than maybe it's a paycheck movie where you get some money out of the whole thing. But again, I enjoyed the storylines. I liked McKenna Grace and Emily Allen Lind and how they worked together. And then, she became a ghost, and just to be able to, feel that and all that. And then it all went haywire and it was all part of the plan with the bad guy. That was cool. I dug all that. Celeste O'Connor was great. She was good in the film. Loved it. And yeah, I mean, for the most part, Patton Oswalt was great. I feel like Patton Oswalt, he could be the new Dan Aykroyd if they need that going forward, if Dan doesn't come back, because he was, he had all that knowledge, in the library. And that's the other thing with the script. I felt like it was too easy. The discovery was too easy. Patton Oswalt had all the answers, and you're like, oh, wow, you studied every book in this thing, and you remembered that. You remembered all that detail and everything. I enjoyed the beginning of the film that kind of set the stage with everything back in like 1906 or whatever it was, with the firemen and how it tied in the fire department, the firehouse and everything from the films. Overall, I would give Ghostbusters Frozen Empire 2 thumbs up. It's good. It's rewatchable. It's a movie that if I saw it, in a list or something, I'd put it on in the background. And that says something for me, because so much is just not rewatchable now. I'll watch something one time and I never watch it again. And so yeah, this definitely is like a rewatchable film. Have it on in the background. Good stuff. And so yeah, I hope they make another one. Maybe they can bring it down in scale too. Make it a little bit smaller, like Afterlife, something smaller. Give me a really tiny story and go from there. So what did you guys think of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire? Did you like it? I enjoyed it, and it was an hour and 55 minutes. So I didn't have to hit pause or do anything like that. That's always a good thing. Runtime, I'm just not a fan of 3-hour movies now these days. Let's talk about it in the comments section. We'll see you on the next one.